Good evening.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
All right. Lots of emails flying through.
Yeah, a lot going on.
Going for the gold there in this regulation. I think Julie and Anne were invited, but I don't know if they'll join.
Julie's out of town,
Okay.
so she's certainly not joining.
Okay. That's fine. We can go on. So call the meeting to order.
Mhm.
No public participation. Do you want to approve the meeting from minutes from?
Oh, do you want me taking notes? Or do you take?
I can do it.
Okay. Yes, I move that we approve the minutes from last month as amended by you to correct the spelling of Anne's name.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Great. All right, next item is talk about school waste initiatives. Okay, so we're gonna go into the Galvin on Wednesday, next Wednesday,
Yeah.
and just see like what's happening there, because I know that they changed some of the things they were offering in the cafeteria, so I just want to see like how much clamshells are being used, like what other things like are recyclable that they're now carrying.
Yeah. Would you like to see the draft for ideas only version of the poster that
Sure.
my neighbor made? Let me pull that. She got real excited and wanted she had already finished her homework, so she just
Wow.
got right to it and wanted to make a sign. Can I share my screen? Do I have that there?
I can make you co-host.
So I think this would something to this effect, where we would specifically include the items that are available in the cafeteria. So whether that's soda cans or clamshells or juice bottles, and then a no for the things that they should not put in the recycle.
Yeah, I would say first off, the pictures are a little small, so we can't really tell what it is.
Well, this is small. We could probably make them bigger, but I was thinking we would print this at like 11 by 17 size. If there's a place on or near the barrel to put it, like, is it, if we're doing barrel stations, would they be against a wall?
So where the bins are now are against the hallway where you walk in to vote. They're like right up against the glass there. So the issue is like we've put up a poster there before, but then it just gets taken down because they want to put up something else for some event or something.
Got it. Yeah.
There's no like permanent spot to like hang stuff,
see.
unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could we put it on the barrel?
Well, we have those other stickers on the barrel right now.
Oh, okay, those are already on the barrel. Got it. Okay, when we're there Wednesday, we can explore and see what.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yep. But
Um,
yeah, I agree the pictures could be bigger so they're clearer.
yeah, I'm just thinking like, you know, we don't want to like confuse them too much by putting like too many things on something, so they need to see like, oh, what do I have? Like, is it on this poster? So like just putting, that's why I like the recycle poster only has stuff that you can recycle, not that you can't. So just putting like very straightforward messaging is a little bit better than putting everything on there and then having people figure out like, what do I do?
Yep, makes sense. So would you rather like augment the existing ones with something that makes clear that it needs to be empty? It sounded like that was part of the problem was.
Yeah, I mean, we do have on the sign, I believe, that it has to be empty. I can go find the signs right now.
Oh, I think I have them in that same folder here. I can pull them up. Oh, it does say that. Yeah, it does say empty. So I guess it's just that people don't.
They don't read, that's the thing. So even if we put a sign that has all these, you know, informational stuff, they won't read. That's why this is very like in your face. This is what you can recycle, has no food, liquid, empty. That's it.
Yeah.
Like having too much stuff on a sign, it's not helpful. Even though you think it would be, people just don't look at it, the whole thing, and read it carefully.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe we'll see what's going on when we're there on Wednesday and see if there's anything.
Like we specifically put on that sign the stuff that they sell in the cafeteria that are recyclable. So yeah.
Okay. Maybe we need to talk to more middle schoolers.
Yeah, I mean, like Cheyenne's kids are in the middle school, and like we went there and like we talked to them, and she had, you know, gave her kind of take on why middle schoolers are not, you know, they're just kind of in a haze and like like not really focused on like that kind of thing, I guess, at that age. They're just kind of blasé. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think going there next week, and then also I signed up for that webinar that I sent you. And so, you know, hopefully both those things can kind of inform what we need to do.
Yeah, I signed up for that webinar also. See what we learn. Okay.
And, you know, I think that like the bin system that I sent Tim would probably work better than, I mean, the only thing is like, so they wheel around the trash because they don't want kids like getting up and down like all lunch, basically. So that's why they wheel that around.
Yeah.
And like when Cheyenne and I went in there for some education, we were also wheeling the recycle bin around and kind of going to each table and be like telling people that's recyclable, that's not, putting it in the bin, like also just going around like they do with the trash and making sure that, you know, it gets in there. But they don't do that regularly. They just do that with the trash. Nobody does it with the recycle bin, so it just stays on the side. And
someone has to go out of their way to recycle.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of having all the bins in one place where you could just go boom, 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 and you're done.
Yeah.
Kind of like how we have the elementary.
Right.
But it's a different beast. It's a lot bigger, cafeteria, more kids, more chaos. So
yeah,
that's the dilemma. Okay, and then the other thing I wanted to talk about was Earth Day.
Mm-hmm.
What we wanted to do, if anything. I think I sent you, did I send you something? Oh, the I found something about, did I send that to you? Oh yeah, no. The April month of
Oh, food reduction, waste
yeah,
reduction.
yeah.
I
I don't
think
know
you did.
why Gmail doesn't always update my sent box. It's really annoying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, from 7 generations.
Yeah. So there was a focus in April on food rescue. So I don't know if we want to do something that they suggested in there, and I can't look at it now because I don't have it. Oh wait, let me see. Yeah, food waste prevention, national campaign focusing on raising awareness, inspiring action to reduce food waste. I mean, we're already doing that in those 2 schools, but we could do something about this art contest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think maybe an art contest would be good.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Just at the Walden in Greenwood, I guess, like an art contest around food rescue and composting. Like, do they give examples?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think like we might as well share all 3 of those things, right? There could be teachers who would want to do the workshop or look at the resources.
Yeah, I mean, we would have to, for the teacher workshop, like
Could we
get
send that to the
somebody,
principals?
yeah, get somebody within the school to kind of organize it, because I don't think we could organize something like that.
Oh, I thought this was a central workshop that they're saying we could sign up for.
Oh,
But it's no longer accepting responses.
yeah, I just clicked on it too.
Okay.
Maybe it's closed.
Maybe, yeah. Oh yeah, registration deadline is March 10th.
All right.
So none of that.
In-class resources. So we could also do, like, send these things along.
Yeah, like send this to the principals and say, hey, here's some. Plus I don't think we ever sent out the video about Black Earth and like what happens when the stuff gets there. There's like a quick video, so we could add that in also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do we want to do? I bet Black Earth is probably jammed in April.
I wonder. So we talked about doing the assembly at Dolbear if Dolbear ever decides to participate. Would we want to do it instead as just a town thing and have like not focused on schools, or would that be too dispersed? Because then only the people who care will go.
I mean, did we have in our WEF grant thing that we would do an assembly?
I think we did, yeah. I think we said we would do one at each of the schools, and honestly,
well,
I mean, at least Black Earth
will have all the schools participating, so.
Well, that's true.
I think it may make sense to do if we were to do an assembly, to do it at the Walton, because the Greenwood was kind of has been involved in the programs a lot longer. They did a pilot there before COVID, so they were kind of the first school to start all these things, and I think have a better grasp at like you know, the whole system, and Cheyenne's been very hands-on there because there's kids went there. So I feel like it may be better at the Walton, even though it's a smaller school, because they're a lot newer to
Mhm.
the whole thing.
Right, and it might get some people excited to become more engaged.
Mhm. So yeah, I don't know if you want to just reach back out to Black Earth, see if they have any availability in April, or it could be May too.
Mhm. Do we want to check with the school first on like days and times that assemblies can happen? I don't know sort of what the limitations are on when that.
Well, why don't we just see if Black Earth is available at all?
Okay. Sounds
And
good. Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
And then if we're doing that, we could like maybe extend an invite to a handful of folks from Greenwood if people would want to attend, or you know, anyone who wants a refresher. Maybe we extend an invite to a couple of teachers from the other schools that aren't doing it yet as like a, hey, here's what's going on at Walton. Get them interested.
Yeah. I was just thinking about the PTO. I haven't like engaged with the PTO at all.
Is there one PTO or is there a separate PTO for each school?
I have no idea.
I don't either.
I feel like there's a separate one for each school, and then there's maybe an overarching one for Wakefield. I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking about the school committee.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really know. So for the Earth Day stuff, I guess I can just send along the in-class resources and the student art contest.
Mhm.
Do we want to just send it to those two schools, or I don't know?
I mean, I don't see why we couldn't send it to all 4 schools. Or all of this, I suppose the Galvin too, for that matter. Or it's K-12 resources, so maybe even the high school would.
Yeah.
Some science teacher would want to do something with the resources.
Yeah. Parent teacher organization, Wakefield Public Schools. Oh, never mind. I think it is by school.
Okay.
Yeah, each school has PTO.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just wondering like what's the best way to distribute this? So the art contest is you like enter it into like this website.
Right, that's just people individually, right? Like they don't have to do that through their school,
Oh, okay.
right?
I mean, the categories are for depending on the grade.
Well, yeah, so you probably in doing the form have to say which
Yeah.
which grade you're in, but it,
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to do it at school, obviously. You could just do it.
right, like the school doesn't have to submit it. You're just submitting it yourself as a student.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I could send it to, I think I have all the principals. Maybe I will do that. I don't know, what do you think?
yeah, I see no reason not to send that to all the principals.
Okay.
And then on the elementary schools, also the food waste, I trained a new volunteer today for pickup. And I think Cheyenne trained another yet last week. And we now have an online schedule sign up. So
Nice.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we rescued some 30. Oh, well, hold on. I took a picture. I sent the picture of the tally sheet to Cheyenne so that she can gather them all up. But we rescued 31 milks,
Wow.
13 yogurt, 21 cheeses. Like
Yeah.
in the past week, we've rescued like 80 milk. It's a lot of milk.
I know.
A lot of raisins.
It's, I mean, I don't know if there's like a requirement that they have to grab the milk. I don't really.
Yeah, there's a.
They like have to grab because it's part of the food pyramid. I don't know if milk is one of them. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know, but there sure is a lot.
Yeah. Are you bringing them to the Stoneham Boys and Girls Club or?
Most of the days I've brought them to Stoneham. One day last week I brought them to Wakefield Boys and Girls Club, but the other days I've brought them to Stoneham. Yeah, and Stoneham is always thrilled. One day last week I brought them there, and like the kids were already chugging the milk before I left the building. They were like right on it. So
yeah. Yeah, the Wakefield one is a little disorganized, it seems. Well, and our fridge is just horrible.
It's like it doesn't have
old. There's no shelves.
Yeah.
I opened it up one day and it was just like,
yeah. You know, like write them a grant to get a new fridge.
Well, Cheyenne was trying to get them a new fridge. They just needed to go pick it up because somebody was giving it away and they like couldn't make that happen.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded like Cheyenne has some other like Melrose Food Rescue that can also take stuff. So she and I have some days been splitting up, like I'll do Walton and she does Greenwood since they're closer to each of us. So I think sometimes she takes the Greenwood stuff to there because it's closer.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, seems to be going well.
That's awesome.
We've sort of figured out the process a little bit better.
Alrighty. Anything else with the schools? Oh, that video. I don't know. I don't know how to do that video. I'm not sure I'm into it. It seemed a little intense with that that email.
Yeah. I mean, was there a particular story you were looking to tell, or like what was the?
I just wanted to like, I mean, I feel like we could just do it on our phone. Like go in and like see kind of firsthand like the kids, you know, putting their stuff in the compost and food rescue, like maybe interviewing some of them and the principals, and like just kind of getting the like firsthand take of like
Mhm.
these programs and what the students and the staff think about them, and I don't know, just kind of showing more besides just those pictures
Mhm.
that'll maybe help entice other schools to also.
Right, right. Well, that was part of my question, is like, is this to try to convince the other schools, or is it just to celebrate, like, look, we're doing a good thing? Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah,
don't want to make like a huge production out of it. With,
yeah.
that's my only thing. I don't want it to be like a
Yeah.
huge project.
But like, if we're gonna do a few things and edit them together, then I think, you know, WCAT is certainly better poised to do that than if we just take a bunch of stuff on our phones.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So how did we leave it with them? We're gonna circle back.
Yeah, I think so. Um, um,
Oh, she mentioned something about
Warrior
Lori cleanup. Yeah, I don't know why how that came out.
um, yeah, I'm not sure that's relevant, other than that, you know, yeah, they're like-minded people who care about the environment.
Oh, so we're in the process of hiring a replacement staff person, bringing them in. Or I would say it's project starting to happen whenever anyone takes photos.
2 horizontal ones, yep.
Yeah. And then she said it's vacation week. And that's pretty much how it was left. So
Right, right.
I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Oh, right. And then so Ryan replied,
A simple PSA would be good.
yeah.
Insert some B-roll.
Right, which sounds like that would be, they would string together some pictures that we take. I mean, we could certainly go to a couple of lunches, take some horizontal pictures of
I mean, I have a bunch on my phone.
more than the ones that you had already sent me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. They're horizontal, yes. I think they're horizontal.
But I mean, I feel like we could do this in a day if we prep ahead of time, like who to talk to and
Yeah.
And that sort of thing.
Yep.
Would we want them to film? Yeah, we could certainly film them talking to camera. Okay, yeah, so like if we have a couple of people who are ready to speak of like, yeah, it's super easy, this is what we do. I feel like we would want to do one lunch where we go and recruit our people, and then the second lunch a couple days later when WCAT comes and films it. But like, we've tagged the people ahead of time and given them a post-it note that says what they're going to say. All right.
Well, I mean, we don't want to really dictate
Or like that what they're talking
what
about.
the questions are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know, do we want to like start this, or we want to get back to WCAT first? Do we want to just tell them, hey, we can go in and like take a bunch of horizontal pictures and ask people if they want to be on film, kind of thing, and see like when they're available?
Yeah, I think that sounds good. Like, is there a day that they would be available to come in at a lunch, and then we just make sure we go the prior day or sometime the prior few days to recruit a couple of spokespeople?
Okay. Do you want to circle back with them?
Sure.
I probably should ask the principals too.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so I guess we can do it at the same time. If you contact WCAT, I can contact the principals.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right. I think that is it for schools. Next I had was the recycling bylaw, which maybe isn't a bylaw anymore.
Right. And I'm still not entirely clear. I asked in the email, but so I have a meeting on Monday with the health department folks, with Anthony and Aaron. So I think that'll help a lot to just get a lay of the land on like how those regulations get put in place and what the process is and what enforcement looks like of those sorts of things. But if what we end up wanting to do is expand the dumpster health department regulation and then put in place an additional one regulating haulers, like the one that Mass DEP has their template for, then I don't think either of those would require a bylaw at town meeting.
But what would it require is the question.
I think it would require the Board of Health passing a regulation. I think they typically, at least from what I'm gleaning, I think they hold a public forum ahead of time before they vote on it, but it's not a town meeting.
Right.
So I think it would be something to that effect. There is that clause that is that mandatory recycling. That's the, if that's helpful. The guide from the Mass DEP is great. Like, they're very thorough about it. But can you see my screen? So this is I took the template of theirs and just, added in Wakefield and all the places where it said what, a blank for the town. But it has this section in here that is basically states that recycling is mandatory for waste generators rather than haulers, right? So the people who make the waste. But it seems as
Like, you
though,
add that the town of Wakefield will inform all generators at least once per year that recycling is mandatory.
no, that was in the template that I kept all of the things that were in the template.
Okay.
In each of the places where it says the town of Wakefield, it said city/town blank.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, this is fine. That can be something someone does to, annually a note goes out reminding everyone that recycling is mandatory. I think that's the least of our implementation challenges.
Yeah, no, I was just curious.
But it looks like we can adopt mandatory recycling regulations through Board of Health under provision blah, blah, blah. Or it sounds like municipalities can simply enforce the waste bans, but that's sort of the status quo we're already living in, where no one is actually enforcing it effectively. So
Right.
I would think if the Board of Health is going to adopt sort of the rest of this regulation about haulers, that if we can simply include, like, if it is appropriate to simply include this piece of language, which makes recycling mandatory, then that solves it. And I think as a sort of belt and suspenders, I would then want to update the dumpster permit regulation that's already in place.
So what does that say?
Yeah, let me pull that one up. I've been looking at a lot of documents. Let me show you this one. So the dumpster, this is an existing screen share is loading. Okay, so this is the dumpster regulation that is in place currently since April of 2012 through the Board of Health, which basically says stuff about, what a dumpster needs to be and do and can't be filled or emptied at certain times, and it has to have a lid and blah, blah, blah. So it's
This
just like
is
all
for residential and commercial.
I think it applies to everyone. Yeah. I mean, residential and commercial, but only if you have a dumpster. It doesn't apply to like your residential toter.
Oh yeah.
So it's only dumpsters.
Okay.
And then the dumpsters need a permit, which is renewed annually through the Board of Health. And that so this is the piece that overlaps with the hauler stuff, that haulers need to be permitted by the Board of Health.
So yeah, the only thing is like not all multifamilies have dumpsters. Right?
That's true.
So we want to be capturing everybody.
Well, but if they, what do they have if not if they are not serviced by the town? I imagine they would need to have a dumpster for whatever hauler is going to be hauling their stuff.
Some of them just use the rollaway bins. I mean, it depends on
the private hauler comes with just for the rollaway bins.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think then in that case, that's why we need the one that Mass DEP, their template of haulers needing to handle recycling.
Generators.
Well, both.
What
I mean, so there's sort of three things. There's this statement here about mandatory recycling is about generators, but then the rest of this document is about the haulers.
Okay.
Which is who services anyone not serviced by the town.
Okay, and like, so how would the haulers know this? Like, if they don't have a dumpster, like if you scroll down, all private haulers into collect shall be required to first obtain a permit. Okay, but this is all related. Is this is related to the dumpster or just in general?
In general, this would be the requirement for all haulers,
Permit.
which, like, them needing to obtain a permit doesn't sound outlandish, since the dumpster one already says that a collector servicing a dumpster needs a permit. So
But this would be a new permit for ones that don't have a dumpster, basically.
yeah. But that's at the hauler level. So like there are what, maybe a half dozen or a dozen haulers. So they just need a permit. They probably, most of them already have one through the
Mhm.
health department.
And this permit, is this is through the Board of Health? Okay.
This is through the Board of Health, yeah. I can send you this if you want to read over. But this is all just about the permitting part, but then this is an optional piece that we could have, that they need to provide bundled service, that they collect both solid waste and recyclables.
Hmm. That the hauler must provide this?
Mhm.
Okay. And okay.
Unless their customer can show that they have separate recycling already by another hauler. Like basically that customers need to have access to both trash and recycling from their hauler or haulers.
So this would only be like a once a year check from the Board of Health.
Well, that's when
Right.
the permit would happen, but I imagine if we got a complaint, we could have the Board of Health inspect against any of these regulations at any time. Right, like that's there's right, it's authorized authorized to inspect the truck and load at any time, require weight slips, etc.
Mhm.
And then enforcement.
I just realized that guy, Anthony, he's the one that you're meeting with?
Yeah.
So they're the enforcers of the plastics and styrofoam bylaws as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you should talk to them about that while you're there.
Okay. Yeah, I can
Because I
certainly
mean,
do that.
it's kind of
particular.
the same thing, like they only go in for like an annual inspection. So it's really just like a one-time check.
Unless there are complaints.
Right.
Yeah, so I think part of the question to them is, how do complaints get surfaced, and do they then go inspect when there are complaints?
Yeah, I wonder if they have something on their website.
There's a complaint form on their
Is there?
website, on the health department website. I'm pretty sure. I was poking around there last night when I was trying to figure out who these people are. I think there's something for complaint. Well, I was trying to understand the difference between the Board of Health and the health department, because
Yeah.
to me those sound like the same thing, but it turns out they are not.
Board of Health is policy making, rule making.
Right, they're the like elected official people, as opposed to the department that does the execution of the work.
Yeah.
So I think it's
They're more
like
like
policy
the-
versus execution.
Yeah, exactly. I'll file a complaint. Where's this? Oh man, you gotta like create a login, screw that.
I'll dig in on, I'll take a look, but I'll ask them some more questions on Monday. If you have particular questions you want me to ask them about the plastics bylaw enforcement, send me an email. But yes, that does make sense that those are the same people enforcing that. Yeah, so anyway, so I think like I mostly want to talk with them about like, would this make sense as a regulation in addition to or augmenting the dumpster one? I think it would be in addition to, and then can we include in that this mandatory recycling for generators? And this is just as the Mass DEP suggested it. Like I'm not doing anything separate here. Like this is their template and form, which several other towns have adopted basically as written. You know,
well, I feel like that piece should be coming from like the DPW.
that recycling is mandatory.
Yeah. That doesn't have anything to do with the Board of Health.
Yeah. I mean, the DPW is sort of where the waste ban sits, but
yeah. So the local boards of health may choose to adopt mandatory recycling. Okay.
I haven't read this provision MGL chapter 111, but
yeah, I mean, it seems like there's multiple things under here that you could do.
Right, so we could do it through town meeting as a bylaw. That's this option.
Yeah.
But they seem to indicate that it is also okay for this to simply be adopted through the Board of Health. I think given that, you know, Board of Health is elected and, you know, would presumably have a public forum about it at a time and stuff like that.
Yeah, it just seems weird to me that it'd be the Board of Health mandating recycling.
I mean, the environment is a health concern.
Yeah. Anyways, man, it's valid to choose to enforce waste ban. Okay. Third one's off the table, so it's really just 1 and 2.
Right. I mean, and I'll circle back with Tom, like after I meet with Anthony and Aaron, I'll circle back with Tom and point out this specific piece here that, and see if he has a take on whether it would be better to have this, just this section be through a bylaw in November and then have the rest of it be a Board of Health regulation. That would be fine too. We would just do those things separately and then have the, you know, as appropriate, have it point to such a bylaw. Like I think the original version of the template, and I took this part out because we didn't have one, said something like, if you already have a mandatory recycling in place, you can reference it in section 5 to say, you know, per this, everyone needs to be recycling.
So this mandatory recycling would be in addition to the dumpster addition, dumpster permit addition.
This, so there are 3 things. There's a hauler, there's regulations on the hauler, which is what most of this document is. Sandwiched in the middle of it is this mandatory recycling. That's about the generator rather than the hauler. And then third is this existing dumpster regulation.
Okay.
So I think my proposal currently would be that we adopt this hauler regulation as written, inclusive of the mandatory recycling bit, and then also amend the dumpster regulation to make clear that dumpsters need to have, you know, matched recycling dumpster, you know, that anyone getting a dumpster permit other than for construction, maybe, needs to have a recycling dumpster as well, given that recycling is mandatory. That would be my, that's how I would frame it.
Is that what you're gonna?
That's what I was going to discuss with Anthony and Aaron. Like any of those individually feels like it is not a complete picture, right? Like just mandating that haulers do the right thing doesn't do much if you don't need to have a dumpster in the first place. Mandating that if you get a dumpster for trash, that you need to have a dumpster for recycling doesn't do much if the hauler can just dump it all in the trash. Right, so we sort of need to be telling each of the parties involved that they have to be doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So there is one thing that is a little bit more thorough, which I did not read every word of the 117 pages, but this is the food code, food restaurant and food service code, and it mentions recycling in a whole bunch of places. So it seems to indicate that places with trash cans also have recycling. This is currently in the Board of Health, Wakefield Board of Health. So I might ask them also whether this in any way supersedes some of what's in the dumpster regulation. But for instance, so not this about sanitizing or that. But like they have requirements about like recycling receptacles, for instance.
So each restaurant needs to have recycling receptacle?
I don't know that it actually requires that they have it. I think it requires where they store it if they have it, and how they store it, and things like that. But I'm not sure. There are too many words here for me to like really go through it and get it, but I couldn't quite understand the organization of this document. But it at least mentions recycling, which the dumpster one from 2012 did not. So
yeah, it looks like it's more like maintaining your bins and cleaning them.
Right, and that if you store them, they need to be, in certain types of places, and
yeah.
But I don't think they require that they exist. So.
Okay.
Anyway, that's where we're at. But in any case, we're not doing anything for the May meeting.
Yeah.
Still too
We're in investigation.
Unclear. Yeah, we're in investigation mode.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I just
the other thing I want to
do it right,
Yeah. The other thing I want to talk with Anthony and Aaron about, sort of in the vein of enforcement, is whether it is okay to like go poking around and see what's actually going on. Like, I would like to be
dumpster diving.
I don't know that I need to dive, but I would like someone to bless me with a badge that says that it's okay for me to go snooping around and asking questions at some of the big buildings and be like, hey,
is that your next job, health inspector?
Maybe, yeah, dumpster inspector. Or something like I could just go do it, but I'd kind of like someone with some authority to say, yeah, that's a fine thing for you to do. Here's my business card, which you can show. If anyone says, what are you doing on my property? I can say, oh, well, the health department sent me to see if you have recycling.
You can just wear that name tag that Dan made you. And
I do. You know what? I do still have the other 11 of them somewhere. Yeah, that's a good point. I could do that.
And just be like, I'm doing a research project or something like that.
Right. Yes. Because partly I want to understand, like, I know what the story is with, one particular building. But I sure don't have the building of the other, the citizen who
I'm
approached
sure
us
you
after
could
the
just like
recycling.
drive around to like, you know, drive around the parking lots of the big buildings and just see what's going on.
Yeah. Maybe I'll do that one day. Although that doesn't give the full picture because there may be dumpsters that are just dumped into the same trash. Like that only says whether there is a dumpster, not whether the hauler is handling it appropriately.
Right.
So that's part of the story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I might do a little gentle reconnaissance.
All right.
If you have to bail me out of somewhere, you know.
I will help you out if that's the case. All right. So you have a plan. Do you feel comfortable going by yourself?
Yeah, total.
Okay.
But if you do have questions around the plastics bylaw
Yeah.
enforcement,
Yeah.
definitely toss me a note.
Yeah.
In the morning.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I'm just like curious if they have dinged anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know, I'm pretty sure that they have it on their list of like things to check.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if they've fined anybody associated with it. If there's any other, you know, issues that have come up related to it that they've heard, you know, anything like that.
Right. Yeah. Well, and have we passed along any of the tattling that we've gotten?
I passed years along.
Is mine the only one?
No, I mean, I passed along a few to Aaron
Okay.
a while ago of like a running list that I had on my phone. And I mean, some of them I hadn't been, some of the places I hadn't been in for a long time. So there was some change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where did I notice? There was one recently that I had recalled they had styrofoam the prior time I had gotten takeout from them, and now they had something else. But I don't actually recall which one that was.
So Carol's Cafe was one that I
Maybe
had
it was Carol's.
noticed, I don't know, like probably a year ago
Mhm.
at this point.
Yep.
And so I think they had changed within this year. But they're still using plastic bags. I think plastic bags in restaurants is still an issue. Like
Yeah.
Public Kitchen's still doing it. Like a lot of the restaurants don't know that that needs to be changed too.
Right.
Because that was the update for the plastic bag
Mm-hmm.
bylaw. So you can ask them about that. Like that should be on their list if it's not already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. That's awesome. Thanks for doing all this work.
Yeah. I'm excited. We're gonna get somewhere. Figuring it out. Learning a lot in the process about how things work around here.
We're in a lot of dry policy.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Mass DEP thing was a real good find.
Yeah.
Like their stuff was really good and had good examples, and like they've got a whole spreadsheet of all of the towns in Massachusetts and whether they have a policy in place. Was it a bylaw or a Board of Health thing?
Oh, wow.
How is it enforced? Are there fines? Who does it apply to? Like they have detailed records.
And so, like, what was the overall? Did you see like other towns, like what they're doing?
Yeah, and I added some to the sheet. They I was able, so filtering it down to towns that have central collection rather than a transfer station. And so I was looking for towns that then had a bylaw in place and that were enforced, that had a bylaw that applied to multifamilies, because many did not. And then of the ones that did, most of them were cities and not towns. So there were actually very few towns that had a multifamily version of it, which was interesting. Maybe it's because a lot of towns don't have multifamilies worth like having those. Like if they have more multifamilies, then maybe they're a city.
Yeah.
Right. Like there are a lot of towns around here that are called city, like Melrose. And I guess per Tom, it actually makes a difference in how the regulations get.
Yeah.
Or if the ordinances or bylaws or whatever get in place. So yeah, there were very few that met all of what I was looking for like a pristine example. But there were a couple.
I mean, Reading is a big town that has a lot of multifamilies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let's see. Oh, and like whether it was actively enforced. Let's see, where's, okay, let's clear all the filters. So Reading's is not is a policy and it is not actively enforced according to the spreadsheet. They do say that the hauler should leave if there is recycling in the trash, like leave the barrel. There are no fines in place. It does apply to multifamilies, which they call residents not in municipal program. But I had ignored that one because it was not actively enforced. But it would be worth getting a hold of theirs.
Yeah.
Dig theirs
Who's
up.
it supposed to be enforced by? Like the DPW or?
I don't know. I don't know where the information on this database comes from. There's simply a column that says actively enforced, and it has a yes, a no, or a blank. And in the case of Reading, it is a no. Reading's though says it's the policy rather than a either DPW regulation or a Board of Health regulation. A lot of them in here are Board of Health regulations. Like that's, I would say, the dominant.
Okay.
Option.
Well, and considering that's what the DEP template is, then
yeah,
I guess we should just go with that.
Yeah. So
interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Next item is the Sustainability Day on April 8th.
Yes.
I
saw that Rep. Liberty has started promoting it. I saw it on Facebook.
So I don't know if you want to kind of do the same promotion that she did, and then we can follow up later with more details, specifically what we're doing. I don't know if seems like that girl at London Men's is a little busy. They may not get back to me. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and so we want to do a toy swap. What's the
so we definitely want to do toy swap? Is that?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, I'm just wondering if that, I mean, if London Men don't come, then we'll just have the toy swap at our table.
Well, and any other like educational materials we want to do.
I feel like I should ask Dan about all those signs.
Oh yeah, we should have Dan bring those signs back. I have the one that he made, the big one that was about water bottles. Which had all sorts of stuff on it about.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, I have that one because he left it behind. So,
yeah.
But a lot of the signs just point to other resources. So I think, yeah, we should bring those along and have them there. It would be nice to talk about the success of the school food waste stuff, but I don't know that I want to like, I mean, we could print a quick sign, but we shouldn't maybe like make it an official looking laminated sign if it's going to be stats that are immediately out of date.
Right.
Although, you know, the way we could do it is to like laminate it with a blank space in front of it and then like dry erase marker right in, you know, X pounds of food or pounds of food waste composted and Y items, you know, rescued. And then each event we just erase them right in the latest stat.
Could do that. So you're talking about laminating and then writing on the lamination?
Yeah, so that we can change it each any event that we go to. Did you know that we're composting in schools? To date, we've composted and we, you know, write on it 437
that
pounds.
Assumes that we're going to be continuing to like
keep track
of all of it forever.
Sure, true. Well, or we make some assumptions, right? Over each week we've done the program. For the first 3 months, we've kept track. Each week we've had an average of X amount. So in total, right? Like that must be how Black Earth does it.
Yeah, we could do like, did you know that these 2 elementary schools have been rescuing an average of blah, blah, blah food items and composting an average of blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Over the last however many months. Yeah, I was trying to find something online that like converted the amount composted to, you know, this equates to however, you know, greenhouse gas emissions saved and a bunch of whatever other stuff they have on their website. But I couldn't find anything that was that great. I don't know what they use. Oh, the other thing was that soil for the schools.
Right.
Yeah, I sent that to Tim because I feel like we should be able to use the grant money since we don't have as many schools.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Right. I guess as a household, we each get 1 bag, but as a school, you just get a discount on buying it.
Yeah.
Probably makes sense because they probably want more than a bag.
Yeah.
A bag is fine for my 4x8 garden.
I know. I was kind of thinking the same thing, that it would be free, but then I understand that it's just a bag and probably not helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll get the educational signs from Dan. And
we'll get volunteer signups and email list addition. Like if people come talk, we can add them if they're interested. I now have the power to add people to the email list. So Sean blessed me with that power.
Right. You'd be all by yourself over there.
I know. Well, William joined.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Hopefully one of the new folks will join.
Volunteer.
William's a little busy.
/ email signups. Okay. Create sign for feel like she's just very overwhelmed.
Who is?
Elena.
Oh, seems like there's a lot going on over there. Yeah, so toy swap. I mean, I think that sounds like a nice one in the vein of reduce, reuse.
Yeah.
Right. And with the toyery as a willing recipient of things that don't get swapped, then that's easy enough. But we should put some limit on it of like,
right.
Please only bring maximum 2 items per child and or household.
Yeah, but like, what do we want to limit? Like the size? Like, we don't want people showing up with like a blow up house or something.
Or, yeah, a whole dollhouse or a slide or something.
We could say like a small to medium toy, size toy or something.
Yeah.
Small to medium size toy in good condition.
Yeah. 2 per child. Please take some. Swap, don't just donate.
We want 2 toys per child or per family?
You know, people might not come with their child either.
Yeah.
2 per household, 3 per household. That's 1.5 per child on average.
2 toys per household. Okay. Good condition, small, medium size. The outdoor. So that you bring 3, and do you have to get like grab 3?
No, I don't think so.
There shouldn't be a requirement for that.
But maybe we say something like swapping, not just donating, is encouraged. Right? You're encouraged to take something with you.
We're gonna be leaving with a truck full of toys.
Yeah.
Because I feel like moms are just gonna show up and like drop off a bunch of toys and leave. You know?
Possible.
They're gonna be like, here's my spring cleaning, take it. I mean, we didn't see a lot of kids last year.
No.
But maybe this would encourage them. I mean, the way that the
Right. Ideally, you bring the
the
kid and then they
event
pick
is-
something from the swap.
the way that the event is set up, it doesn't really allow for people to like walk around. It's kind of like drive.
Drive through and drop off.
What I didn't really like about it last year. It was just like people
Yeah.
drove up and drove away.
Yeah. Well, because if they're bringing their dehumidifier to have be recycled, like you're not going to just show up on foot.
Right.
Yeah.
But nobody like stopped and like walked around.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like, here's my stuff, and then left.
Well, is there anything we could do to encourage it to be more walk aroundy?
Well, we're not really the creators of the event.
Yeah.
What did she have?
Right, they're going to be doing paper shredding.
Why can't I find this email?
Right, I saw it on Facebook, so
Yeah.
shred one copier box of papers.
Yeah, I mean, she's framing it as spring cleaning. She's not really framing it as like an educational thing.
Right.
That's the problem. And so people feel like they're just coming and dropping off stuff and leaving. Yeah, I mean, she says clear clutter while making a difference and learning how to further their sustainability initiatives. So, I mean, I guess she is saying both, but it seems like there's more focus on when you bring the drop off. Yeah, I mean, people are definitely going to be like, have their cars full and then swinging in. And they have paper boxes or, yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just a feedback we can give her.
Mm-hmm. Right, that it doesn't sort of foster as much engaging with the tables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like you can't really do both. It's
Right.
one or the other. But anyways, I think if we do a toy swap, it may engage a little bit, like for kids to come up and people to come by our table and talk to us.
Can we have two physical tables, like have one table for like us and educational stuff and then a table off to the side that is covered in toys? Because I feel like it'll get pretty chaotic if we have toys and educational stuff on the same table.
Yes.
And maybe like a bin or box or two, like maybe we bring a few flattened boxes that we can open up to fill with toys when it.
Yeah,
the
I think
table
we definitely
overflows.
need boxes. I'm not sure a table's the best.
We want people to be able to see the toys.
Yeah. If we can get an extra table, usually it's just one table per group. But we can see about getting an extra one.
Okay.
3 toys per household. Not mandatory to take 3 toys, right?
Yeah. Which reminds me, I should promote, did you know the library has a puzzle swap? Like you can, they have like a puzzle lending library in that room, that like living room kind of room.
Yeah.
It's cool.
3 toys. 3 toys per household to drop off. Not mandatory to take 3 toys, but can swap for 3 toys if they want. Good condition, small to medium size. You'll donate the leftover toys to Toyery. Do you want to donate to Toyery or to like some other like charitable?
Maybe we should just say that they'll be donated.
Yeah.
And then we can deal with splitting it up or figuring out who to bring it to. Yeah. Because we could certainly donate it to a charity or a preschool or something, but some of them might only want certain types of things and not others. So
because Toyery is making money off of that.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Is that it? Is that all the details we need?
I think so.
Okay. So I think that's good.
My cat behind me just made it like such a loud snore. It's like, ah.
I mean,
And
this
we
is
don't want
coming
to
up.
do
Yeah.
like a pouch recycling kind of thing like we did before. Like that was not particularly interesting, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have kind of mixed feelings about TerraCycle.
Mhm.
There's a lot of like lawsuits against them, and not a lot of like real evidence that they're actually recycling everything that they collect, because a lot of experts don't think it's possible. I mean, they're collecting everything under the sun, basically.
And are they really able to get good stuff out of most of it?
Yeah, how is it possible for this one company to recycle everything when everybody else is just like so I think the wrappers and like the plastic bag type of things, they're definitely recycling. So I feel good about like the wrappers that are going to REI. But like all the other like weird random things.
Would we want to do another wrapper box like we did for Halloween?
For this event?
Although if people haven't been saving their wrappers, it's sort of.
Yeah.
Maybe we just do like a, maybe this would be fun. We do like a stump the expert, like people come and ask us like, okay, well, where do I recycle my, and we can tell them like, is there a place, where do I recycle my candy wrappers? And we can tell them where they can go with things now that we've amassed a decent number of.
Yeah, we could show that list somehow that we have on the website.
Yeah. I went to last week, Monday, I brought my bulbs and batteries to Home Depot, but they only want lithium or like rechargeable batteries. They don't want like regular batteries. Yeah. So then I went to Staples with my regular batteries and they don't want them either. So I was walking around with a takeout container of batteries like a weirdo, but.
Yeah, so there's a company called Big Green Box that you can, it's a mail away box type of thing.
Got it. I saw that on a list and it looked like you had to go to Boston to drop it off, but you can mail it.
You just buy one online and do it at your house.
Oh, that's better. Okay.
We have one at our office and
cool.
So, yeah.
Okay, good to know. But yeah, like maybe we can just tell people like,
yeah,
come with your recycling. Like, how do I dispose of this? Kinds of questions, and we can.
Yeah, I think that would definitely be a good forum for it. So we can display. Figure out how to like. Do you want to just like print it out and put it on the table? Do you want to figure out the best way to display that? I mean, we could just put it on the table and have it be like kind of like a reference book and be like, hey, like look up in here if you're wondering about whatever.
I'd almost as soon just have, well, I guess we probably wouldn't have internet out there. So like have my old laptop and just pull up the page and pull up Recyclopedia so that when someone says like, oh, what about plastic spoons? I'm like, look up like, oh no, there's not really a good spot for that. That just goes in the trash. Is there internet out there? We just do it on our phones.
So I guess so she already has that we're gonna be there. I guess the only thing that we need to tell her about is the repair cafe and the toy spot.
Mhm.
I don't have a phone number. Oh, contact us. Nope. Yeah, there's no phone number for the loop. Go there and stalk her again.
I'll be in Melrose tomorrow. I can pop by.
Yeah, just like, hey, I was in the neighborhood.
I mean, I'm going down there to go to the gym, so I could pop in and see if she's there.
Okay.
She might not be there. It sounds like each of the three of them are there on different days.
Yeah, tomorrow's Thursday.
So might not be as effective tomorrow, but
Yeah, I mean, if it's convenient for you, to stop in there.
if I get time, I'll peek my head in tomorrow. If not, I can try to go some other time in the next few days. I'm trying to get to Melrose to the gym a couple times a week, so in theory I should be able to go by at some point.
What gym?
So why?
Oh. Yeah, you got time to
Trying to make good use of it.
it.
Oh, and I did sign up for that conference.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go.
Well, then I'll take good notes.
Yeah, I have that test in the morning, and then my company schedule or my department scheduled this like town hall like right after I'll be getting out. And yeah, it just seemed like too much to handle that day.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have gone if it was closer, but it's kind of a haul.
It is a haul, yeah, for definitely.
But yeah, definitely let me know when you find out.
Yeah, for sure.
And do you want to get reimbursed?
Yeah, I mean,
you sign up as a municipality or?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, so the only thing, what was the Sherry said you had to fill out a W-2 or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I can reach out to Sherry and ask her for what I need to do.
Maybe worth doing it. Since you're kind of buying a bunch of things.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
One sec. I don't think so.
Okay. So our next meeting is April 19th. Does that work?
Well, that would be the same day as the Board of Health. If I go to the Board of Health meeting for the hauler regulations.
Okay.
Their meeting starts at 6, but that might, I don't know how long it goes or where on the agenda it would be, so.
Yeah, probably not a good idea. We could do the 17th. So if there's anything you want to talk about for that meeting.
Yeah, or even just the prior Wednesday.
The 12th.
Although we have the big meeting on the 13th.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do the 17th. I would have had the community education meeting that day, but I can probably move that to a different Monday.
Okay. All right. Okay, motion to adjourn?
Second. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Have a good
Okay,
night. See you soon.
thank you. Have a good night.
You too. See ya.